we are talking about the application of Agadandra in clinical dermatology. When such a question is coming, whether the application of Agadandra is limited to clinical dermatology, I will explain it in detail. So first, I will explain some other thing that is already mentioned. The speakers are mentioned about what is Agadandra. But generally, it is understood what is Agadandra is equal to toxicology. Of course, it is giving some parts of toxicology. So what I am saying that these are the common points that in a toxicology portion of modern medicine and Agadandra portion we are getting together. But is it sufficient enough? The question
Excuse
comes
me,
here.
Asha, make it full screen.
Okay, thank
Slide.
you.
Make it full screen. The last button, down. That one button is.
Getting it.
താഴെ ആ സ്ലൈഡ് ഫുള്ളാക്കി വെക്കൂ. ഒരു കപ്പിൻ്റെ ആകൃതിയല്ലേ, അത് ആകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും മതി. ആ ഫുൾ. Slide show. Ah, yes.
Is it right now? No.
താഴെ റൈറ്റ് സൈഡില് ബാറിന്റെ അവിടെ ഒരു വാട്ടർ ടാങ്കിന്റെ രീതിയിലൊരു സാധനം,
ഒരു കപ്പ് പോലത്തെ സാധനം,
അടയാളം, ഒരു കപ്പ് പോലെ ഒരു അടയാളം കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അത് കിട്ടിയാലേ ശരിയാവും. സ്ക്രീനിന്റെ റൈറ്റ് സൈഡില് താഴെ.
Okay. Is it right? Okay.
Okay.
Now it's good.
Okay,
so why this when you are talking about, just one minute. Okay, these are the common portion that in a toxicology text and Agadandra text we are getting, and at the same time, other than this one, Agadandra is giving something else also. It also giving the impressions on zoonotic disorders and Mastakavisha, just like that. It is already the previous speakers mentioned, and other than this one, it is mentioning about the incompatible diet and in other introductions are coming there. So here comes a difference between Agadandra and modern Ayurvedic toxicology. That is the thing is that the one thing the definition says in modern toxicology is that everything is dose dependent. It is mentioned that harmful effect at a particular dose level. That is the explanation given for a toxic substance. It is given. Whereas in Ayurvedic toxicology or Agadandra, we are mentioning about the potency of the medicine or virya. In certain occasion, we can say that the whatever be the potency, as maybe it is proportionately equal to dose, but many times it need not be. Sometimes if you are concentrating or if you are processing, potency may be different from that of the dose. And other than this one, toxicology and toxinology also is included under Agadandra. And when it comes to dermatology and Agadandra, that is what I told, that no specific relation between Agadandra and dermatology to certain extent we can say that. Otherwise, we can say that instead principles of Agadandra embraces all kinds of pathologies mentioned in Ayurveda. It is not simply limited to dermatology itself, but here the session is based on dermatological conditions. That is why I am sticking to this one. So why this Agadandra perspective is necessary? So it gives a better deep understanding of the impact of the causative factors. Generally, when you are talking about the various diseases, the causative factor we are mentioning about, we are discussing about causative factors, but once the pathology started or Samprapti started, then we are forgetting about the causative factors. Where in the case of Agadandra, that means the causative factors are retaining in the body and it is capable of producing certain influences. And so this has to be considered from the very beginning. In Shalidandra also it is the same thing. And again, another point is that it is unveiling the complicated interaction between various factors, that is patient factor as well as the drug factor or the poison factor. All these things are again we have to consider, because this much discussion on various factors is not necessary when you are handling a certain the common diseases. And again, it is Agadandra is giving an opportunity to understand yet another root of pathology. Because if you want to say that in any diseases is discussed, including dermatological diseases, then it is one root of pathology is mentioned in various chapters of the Nidana and other various parts of the text also. And but here in Agadandra, we are getting another root of pathology. The root is a little bit different, and it merges with the common pathology at the end for the manifestation of the disease. So this part is not mentioned in any of the other texts. So that is a why Agadandra perspective is necessary. And again, it is helpful to in handling certain signs and symptoms very quickly. Because generally Agada or the antitoxic medicines are quickly acting. So sometimes we need that handling is necessary, and sometimes it may be for getting the even the proper health, or sometimes simply giving a soothing aspect of the disease, that also can be done. And sometimes it gives but certain pathologies for some time to facilitate systematic treatment. It can delay can be made, just like in snake bite. Systematic treatment, whether it is the patient is fit for that systematic treatment, that the question comes there. Sometimes we can delay the pathology and make the patient capable for receiving the systematic treatment. So that is also Agadandra can do. And it gives finding answers when diseases are not responding to the usual way of treatment. And again, it also helps in handling the complication, and it is helping in the emergency and critical stage management also. So the question is that what Agadandra specialists are doing. So what they will do that is search for subtle observation. The question may arise, even other doctors are doing the same thing. But the thing is that it's a habit for the toxicologist for always searching for subtle observation. So the chance of missing is comparatively lesser. And they also continuously observe, because in almost all the toxic condition, this continuous observation is a habit and routine affair for toxicologists, Ayurvedic toxicologists. And so they will do it continuously observing the condition, so that each and every symptom generally arising in between, that also will be critically analyzed, and a particular medicine can be given. So this is helpful for them, and unlocking the threads of the presented one and the real one. So generally in toxicology condition, it is a common one. The patient may be with sometimes even especially in Jangama Visha, patient is presenting with all sorts of symptoms. Sometimes the condition may not be that much severe. So what we have to find out is what is the real thing, what is the presented one. So whether we have to compare that one, we have to find out the real one, and for the real condition only we have to treat. So this is so in a psychological aspect and understanding the patient in a well manner, also that is Agadandra specialists can do. And so again, always Agadandra specialists are searching and anticipating for what is unseen than the seen. So it is they are always expecting sometimes the worst, and so because of that only that their attention will be always what will be the next thing, that what for that one many preparation has to be given, just like in Vega Chikilsa of Visha, that the same thing is we are doing that for the Vega that is already going to happen, or the dhatu that is already going to be affected, for that dhatu the treatment is giving prior itself. The same way, what is unseen is already anticipated, and then sometimes we are treating for that one also. And then it comes the planning of the treatment accordingly, that is also helpful in finding such condition, and searching for fast acting single drugs, that is common thing. And Pratyakhyana and Chikilsa, it's a common thing in Agadandra, and in many of the diseases now we need the necessity of Pratyakhyana, because especially in genetic conditions and other conditions that we have to mention about, and other even the severe condition that can attain so many complications are there. All these things, that's a routine affair for Agadandra specialist. so then comes the question that is there any specific relation between Visha and Togroga? I will say not particularly of Togroga alone, to many diseases it is having some relation. But at the same time, one pathology that we can simply connect, that is relation between Visha and Rekta and Rekta and Tok. So comparatively in Togada Roga, that is when we are handling, Rekta is the prime factor that are more considered. And again, that is going reverse back means we have to think about Visha also. When it comes to the Ayurvedic physiology, we know that Shira Santhanika, skin is the reflecting organ of the internal environment, we can say that. And so thermal condition, it is the thermal condition reflector also. So all these things also helping in that using some or other Agada in under many conditions. And lesion may be primary or secondary, may be confined to skin, or the indicator of it may be simply an indicator of a systemic disease. And remote and subtle sign of symptoms of internal environment, if you are thinking about that, nothing to do directly with the dermatological management. Actually, if there is an problem is in the internal environment, it is the reflection is only in the skin. We have to think about the internal environment itself. The two important causes of all Ayurvedic disease that is commonly applicable to the skin disease also, the wrong diet and wrong lifestyle, that is commonly we are saying for almost all the diseases. And when we are thinking about the factors modifying the action of poison from the part of poison as well as from the part of the patient. So age, health, tolerance, idiosyncrasy, and form of the medicine. Here we can say that form can be translated to innate, the chemical activity. What is the guna parivartana that is happening in the body? And dose time relationship also. That is, dose is very commonly discussed, but the dose time relationship of the symptom manifestation is also that is very important. And the route of administration of a particular medicine, if we are changing that one, that will give a very good result. And in the case of absorption also, that is giving a change in result. So the common thing is that when we are discussing about any of the dermatological lesions, these are the factors that are spoiling the beauty of the skin, we can say. But other than this one, we can say that toxin accumulation in the recta reflects in Tok, and Shodhana in Rekta is helpful for managing Togroga. It is in simple sentence, we can say that Rekta should be actually result in the almost in the Togroga Shanti or Shamana, we can say. So the condition is that how Ayurvedic approach is understanding the skin disease. So everything, the aim is for the restoration of the doshic balance. So how that is going on, the step is given, 5 steps I have given here. And when we are thinking about from the point of Agadandra, it goes in a different way. First it understands the diet and lifestyle pattern, and then physical examination of the skin health, and then analysis of the past and family history, and then comes the understanding the dosha environment along with other sadhus and srotas, and then comes the analysis of the body. In a different way, Agadandra approach is doing in skin diseases when we have to apply the Agadandra principles. These are the aim of the Ayurvedic therapies for skin disorders. This is given in almost all the texts same. So I will once again I will say that what happens when we are considering about if a Visha or a Visha Upama material is there in the body. Okay. So the first step is that mentioned normalizing Jadragni for any condition of the skin, it is mentioned. But if there is a Visha or a Vishobama situation is in the body, then it will be somewhat contradictory. Because if you are becoming normalizing the Jadragni, that will go for more Pajana of the Visha, and sometimes that is resulting in the spreading of the Visha within the body itself. And then comes the second point, that is clearing doshoklesha toxins. That is the generally we are using in almost all the skin diseases. The step is of adopting. But what with an Agadandra perspective, if you're handling the skin diseases, this should be done as early as possible without further much increase in pitta or favoring reduced time for pitta increase. Why? Because in Doshotklesha, what dosha occurs means there will be any specific interaction or the action of pitta can be expected. But if you are suspecting that it is a visha or a visha upama material is in the body, then we have to limit that pitta increasing to prevent the further absorption of the visha in the body. And the last step is the reducing increased pitta in dhadus, especially in recta. That is Dhatu Agni and then Jadragni is the condition it is mentioned in managing skin diseases. But here it is as a last stage only we are considering the Jadragni. That is why in the Gera Chikitsa it is mentioned. Garartho Vandavan it is mentioned. Even without Agni that has to be done, and then the Agni has to be made projula. So when it comes to the medicine part, the difference in opinion in aims is coming there. So then last point of the skin disease, if you are handling, that is reducing the increased vada. That means reducing ruksha, lagu, khara, chala, sukshma, etc. So actually calming vada is the art of a toxicologist, and Visha Sankata and Visha Anila, that is the condition that is a toxicologist doing. So without creating much problem, vada can be reduced with an Agada medicine as well as with Agada principle also. But and again at the same time, Shida should not be increased. Thinking that pitta is already increased because of so many reasons, so that has to be reduced. No, it should not be done. And liquefying and clearing kapha is the condition where it is mentioned in handling a skin disease. But at the same time, there is no need for it when you are doing in this way, because we are without increasing much pitta, we are trying for an elimination, and then so probably liquefaction of kapha will not happen to greater extent. And increasing peripheral circulation is the last condition, or that just like increasing prajaka pitta etc. for skin diseases. But when you are treating a particular disease with Agada perspective, skin disease, then in majority of the condition, we will leave it to body itself to correct. Otherwise, maybe sometimes some medicines can be given, but even then, will take enough time for the body to correct that condition.
Ma'am, please wind up.
And the increasing the nervous function also,
So,
then we can say that is the slowly only we can do that one. So the line of treatment is given, that is for almost all the skin diseases. So I'll change this line, because Shodhana, if you are saying a systematic Shodhana cannot be done in the case with an Agada perspective, much time for Doshotklesha should not be given with Agada perspective, because if you are handling Visha or Vishopama material inside the body, then Doshotklesha will make more absorption for Visha in the body. And again, in the about Rasayana is the next step that is generally we are adopting for skin treatment. But in Visha, if you are Agada perspective, if you are treating that one, the Rasayana application will be done only in the last. And the remaining Nidana should not harm the body. So we are removing the Visha, and then even if some part of the Visha is inside the body, then it has to be binded, just like Dr. Shobha Bhatt has been mentioning about the Dushi Vishari Agada. So bind it and keep it so that it will not produce any harmful effect. And the third point is Patyahara and Vihara is the general next point, but Nidana Parivardhana, that is the importance is given here in the as a third step when it comes to the Visha and Vishopama materials. Continuing, and the fourth point, that is Shamana is mentioned, but here when comes the Patyahara and Vihara is considered as the most important, and Shamana should follow Patyahara and Vihara, and Rasayana is the last stage when as far as Visha, Vishopama Sampraptis are concerned. So these are the procedure that we are adopting for Shodhana in skin disorders. But the thing is that if Visha or Vishobhama condition is there, then maximum Sadyasnehana, then if you really feel that that will not produce and that will not affect the unaffected srotas also. Because once Sadyasnehana is mentioning, then the Doshotklesha is beginning to start along with Svedana, the following Svedana also. Then the unaffected srotas may also will be affected by the Visha. So that should be avoided. And Svedana should be done at the same time to control the gati of the dosha. And Vamana means when you are applying, it should have the ability to bind or neutralize the Visha. Vasti is generally not in the initial phase of the skin management with an Agada perspective. That is adopt other methods unless it is Visha Anila. It is already mentioned about the Visha Anila by Dr. Sri Krishnan to a certain extent. So it is Vasti can be given in at that stage, but not in other cases, because when you are using the Vasti, sometimes even absorption can also once again may take place. So that has to be avoided. And Virejana also, the Pajita dosha, it is mentioned that is Virejana during the Pajana dosha should be done. Without much Pajana also, Virejana has to be done in the case of treatment with Agada perspective.
Madam, we are reaching the timeline.
Okay. So this is the two-style management. Shall I stop now?
No. Just finished off. That's
okay. This is the direct Agada approach and indirect Agada approach. One is the direct Agada approach is that for Parada means all type of parasitic condition, we are using Agada. We are using Agada medicines and Agada approach is there. There in such condition, it is just like in Kida Visha, we are handling the things. Just like fungus and bacteria we are doing. So this is not mentioned in any of the classical texts, since fungus and bacteria are not mentioned. But at the same time, indirect Agada approach, the dietary habits and lifestyle together form a Visha in the body, which need an Agada management that is given in the classical text. This is the major difference that in the current practice of Agadandra with respect to dermatology is given us. Direct approaches when coming, it is simply just like Jangama Visha, whatever may be the condition that depending upon that one, we are giving the medicine, killing the agent, and then the chance of becoming chronic is actually reducing. And so that means it is directly destroying the various agents. So drug to reduce excessive sweating and maintenance of good personal hygiene, etc., are done. So this is common in almost all the Yoga Samprapti also. The same thing is following by Agada specialists also. But the first part is entirely different. So how will you consider about this one, drugs? For the drug example, I mentioned that fungal infection itself. So first one is the killing of the agent itself. So these are the different type of various type of killing the material that is mentioned. So that means by that way, the skin is having maybe losing its immunity also. But at the same time, here also Kabahara drugs are given much importance in the phase 1. But phase 2 is a mixed approach of phase 1 and the coming phase 3. It's slowly shifting to the Pitta Shamana aspects of the drug. All the means first one it is Kapha Shamana, completely Kapha Shamana, and when to stop, that is according to the physician. Then it slowly goes to Pitta Shamana aspects. And sometimes it may be a mixing up also when Kapha Shamana and Pitta Shamana. Slowly Kabahara drugs are reducing and Pittahara drugs are increasing. That is a thing we can say. And in the end, sometimes just like I told in the listed in the Arishta, Bala Arishta, Vatahara drug also can be given. This goes as the preventive part only. So that this is common for when you are handling in a disease with Agada perspective or just like in the Samanya Samprapti. So what is phase 3 then? Phase 3 is actually the prevention and rejuvenation, just like we have mentioned in the Agada condition, that is Rasayana in the last. So it very carefully, that is Pitta Shamana, and then Vada Pitta Shamana and Kaba Pitta Shamana and Vada Kaba Shamana, etc. are coming, and slowly it goes to Vada Shamana also. And the what is drugs external, that is external phase 4, that is regaining the vitality, texture and complexion. So there comes the last thing. This is again common for in both the Samprapti condition, it is same thing. And what about the indirect approach, the classical style? That classical styles mentions that the various kind of diets are actually playing a vital role and just acting like a visha in the body. So it covers a broad spectrum of diseases, and long-term exposure of unwholesome diet and other materials are also there. Then we have to find out whether this exposure is there. A recall bias can be expected when you are screening a patient. Then so the Agada's perspective starts that exposures are to be listed out. So the major problem is that when practically encountering is that recall bias by the patient, and whatever we think it as may be harmful to the body, that may not be harmful to the body to patient. So the patient will not be even not taken care about such points, and sometimes it cannot be maybe 2 or 3 or 4 sitting only. We can find out which are the exposures that are to be considered under the Visha or Vishopama, and then apply Dushi Visha approach. Then we can say, then sometimes even Gara approach also is necessary, because still the dietary practices are continuing, and treatment principles are not restricting to Dushi Visha, but Samanya Samprapti of disease also has to be considered. And if you want to end up the treatment side, that will end up in the Samprapti Samanya Samprapti Vikatana of the disease. So by that only we can end up. But before that one, the Agada perspective has to be applied. The proportionate exposure should be evaluated before proceeding for Agada line of treatment. That is the most important thing. So whether all disease has to be, all the skin disease has to be treated with an Agada perspective, there is no need for that one. What is the proportionate exposure of various things, whether we have to consider it as Visha or Vishopama, that has to be evaluated first. And if it is having an upper hand, or if it is the same thing, that factors only, maybe that is practically nil in most of the cases, but and they will give an upper hand when it comes to the Visha or Vishopama Samprapti, then we have to proceed for Agada line of treatment. So what is this Agada line of treatment? The classical line of treatment of Dushi Visha, the classical line of treatment of Gara, and the preference in Shodhana with Vishahara drugs. Mode of use of Dushi Vishari depends upon the exposure history also. So exposure history we have to find out, and then how you have to use it, as whether how long you have to use it, in what way, just like whether just like mentioned by Vaghada as Leha Huba, or mentioned by Susruta in Pida form. So all these things are coming there when you are using the Agada line of treatment. And another area where in Agada perspective is using in the skin disorder is in Vishopayogia. Dr. Shobha Bhatt has mentioned about, but the thing is that Vishopayogia, it is mentioning when it is has to be mentioned that it is when the disease is not responding properly with common systematic treatment. So when you are using a Vishopayogia, it gives a dramatic result. Then the question comes how it happens. So sometimes when you are using a Visha, means if the disease is not responding at all, or our yukti for Samanya dosha or dosha shamanatva, whether it has to be considered again. No, sometimes Visha itself is creating a change, an imbalance of the static situation of the dosha balance of the yoga. That is, we are saying that dosha samatva is the health. But sometimes, we can see that in yoga will be in a stagnant position. It won't never progress, or it won't reduce also. So if such is the condition, then we have to think about again another dosha balance, but in an unfavorable way. There Vishopayogia is giving much research.
Madam, please consolidate your explanation.
Okay. So other dermatological lesions that are dealt by toxicologists are this one common corrosive irritants, etc. when it is happening. So this dermatological lesion, we are getting an area where we can work on that one. So the question, the last question, is an Agada perspective is necessary in handling dermatologic disorders? Yes. Why? Because a lot of Vishobama materials are coming in our day-to-day life, and if you are giving, if you are listing out that one and finding that whether the exposure is there, then if you are applying the Agada line of treatment, then that will give better result than handling a disease with the common Samprapti, how the Samprapti Vikhatana is occurring. With the Agada line of treatment itself, we can cure that one. And of course, sometimes the common Samprapti Vikhatana is also, that principle also has to be used at the end for the treatment. And thank you for the patient hearing.